Tonight on Joy News Prime, let's settle it in courts. That's the response of the Ghana Education Service to angry members of the All Teachers Alliance ATAG who hit the streets in demand of the immediate termination of the one teacher, one laptop policy.
Now, if our teachers feel aggrieved enough to have taken an issue to court, then let them deal within the law courts. They say
you want development or not, Majority Leader Osache Mensah takes on critics of the E-Levy as he pushes for more support for the much criticized revenue measure.
And one of the ways to do this is by the introduction of E-Levy. And people say, no, we will not allow you to borrow outside, we will not allow you to also raise revenue from inside this country. So where are we going? Do you want development or we don't want development?
Business.
Inflation shoots up to 12.2%, the highest since the economy was rebased in August 2019.
Month-on-month basis, food inflation equally records a higher rate of inflation relative to non-food inflation, indicating a 1.3 percentage point, specifically with food inflation month-on-month 2.1%.
We have details of these stories and more in the next 2 hours. This is the home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. I am Ernest Minu. Thanks for choosing us. Let's settle it in courts. That's the response of the Ghana Education Service to angry members of the All Teachers Alliance ATAG who today hit the streets in demand of the immediate termination of the one teacher, one laptop policy. Even though the teachers have been protesting what they call the poor quality of the laptops, the GS says it has already distributed about 62,000 pieces of the TM1 machines to teachers across the country. ATAG is in court challenging the legality of the procurement processes involved in the contract. We'll hear from the Deputy GES Director General shortly, who wants the teachers to respect the courts. First, though, my colleague Emmanuel Cranton was with them on the demonstration, and here's his report.
We're just moving from the Independence Square here in Accra. The demonstrators, mainly drawn from the group calling itself the All Teachers Alliance, they say that they want the GES to refund monies that it has deducted for the purposes of the policy one teacher, one laptop. They have concerns about the quality of the laptop also. Let me speak to their leader just briefly for their concerns. Grateful, sir, that you could speak to us here on Newsdesk on the Joy News channel. Tell me exactly what are your demands?
Yeah, I see. What you are trying to say is very simple. The situation now sounds that GES is trying to take teachers for granted, and we are not going to allow ourselves to be taken for granted. The negotiation that led to the TM1 laptop has not been done right. And you know, there's a problem with the negotiation. Everything that has gone on has not been done well. We are saying that if things are not, ratified within a short time, then teachers' image will be dragged in the mud. You know,
when you say rectified, what do you mean?
We are saying that we have raised concerns that GES have to look at those concerns and address them. One of these concerns is that we believe that the company that produces a laptop, the KA Technology, does not have the pedigree to do that, and that a competitive bidding should have been done instead of sourcing for one company. We also know that these laptops, we also know that private school teachers have received a similar laptop that has better quality than this one. So why can't the government open up for competitive bidding, but allow a sole source company that does not have pedigree in the production of laptop?
We are asking GES fund our 509.55 into our account by the end of December. We want our money because they have not negotiated anything with us. They are going to provide us with any laptop.
Laptops are good or not, we are saying GES must pay for them. GES must bear the cost of the laptops.
It's a big insult to teachers. Now, our union leaders are being in bed with the government and they are starting money. They are distorting us. They even impose a fake TM1 laptop to us.
We will sue them.
Why are you going to sue them?
I have better laptop. I have HP, the state of the art. You see, 7th generation. I bought it 4,200 cedis. So how could you force on me an inferior type of laptop?
3 trade unions went to sit down with the MOE and then the GES and other stakeholders as far as this issue is concerned. leaving the 2 out. So what happened to the other 2?
Yes. And the issue.
Why were they not called? Why are they not teachers also?
And what do you give?
Just about last week or so, a colleague who is in the SS got a laptop, was trying to install Mavis Beacon. He just wanted to give the laptop to his children to work with. After installing the Mavis Beacon, the laptop went off. It's not coming on again. So we have issues. You see, my brother was talking, and he was talking about branded laptops, good laptops. If the laptop will cost 2,000 and you are going to deduct us over time, we will like it.
What are your exact demands?
Our demands are that the monies that have been deducted it's not good. It's according to labor laws. It's against our rights. It should be refunded. Until we get hold of the laptop, no money should be deducted. Simple like that.
But the Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service in charge of quality and access, Dr. Kwabena Bempatando, says the teachers must allow the courts to decide the matter.
Every Ghanaian has the right to take any issue to the law courts of the Republic of Ghana.
Yes, as much as we have alternative dispute resolution.
We do.
So are you going to back them to bring it out of court?
We are going to ensure that we provide the necessary support for our teachers. Now, if our teachers feel aggrieved enough to have taken an issue to court, then let them deal within the law courts.
They say you did not engage them, that's why they went to court. Are you going to engage them now to bring the case out of court?
Once they are the ones who took the case to court. They must make that decision.
So you are going to litigate with them as if going to court?
We have a responsibility to protect our agents.
So how do you defend the GS when they accuse you of not consulting them? How do you defend the GS?
The case is in court.
You don't have any defense?
The case is in court. And the key issue here is that the teacher unions that we have been working with, the teacher unions that we have been working with, they have always come to the table. Even if there are challenges, they come to the table. I do remember the last time that NAGRAT, NAT, or CCT took its employer, the Ghana Education Service, to court.
This one say that you are in bed with these 3 teacher unions that you...
We are not in bed with anybody. We employ every single teacher in this country. And they have a responsibility to execute their job within the confines of their conditions of service. But we also respect the fact that every single teacher is a Ghanaian and has the right to adjudicate whatever concerns they have within the confines of the law. They have chosen this route. So if they have pulled us into court, we would handle it.
It would be fair to say that this petition is useless, but just a piece of paper to you now.
No, sir. It is a petition by registered teachers or employed teachers of the Ghana Education Service.
You are looking forward to engaging in court, not with petition?
No, they have brought this. Like I said, we have received it in good faith. Okay. We will deal with it as they have brought it. But at the same time, they also need to be aware that they have brought a case to court. Most people wouldn't even comment on cases that are in court. So if I were them, I wouldn't even have brought this petition here because I have taken this case to court. And the right thing for anybody to have done is to ensure that the court process ends before you even come here. Which means you yourself that took this thing to the law courts is exhibiting that you don't respect the law courts you have taken this case to.
Let me take you now to Parliament. The Majority Leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Osei Mensah-Bonsu, says he's surprised by the public backlash faced by government regarding the introduction of an e-levy in the 2022 budget. The revenue measure, which government says will rake in more than 8 billion Ghana cedis, has been severely criticized, with the minority in Parliament calling for its complete withdrawal. Now, speaking at a media engagement at the Information Ministry, the MP for Swami explained that revenue accruing from the e-levy will be critical in funding roads and other key programs of the government.
It is surprising, subsequent to this, that government now steps forward to say that, look, the cost of borrowing has escalated, no thanks to COVID, and the fact also that our debt to GDP ratio has escalated, again, no thanks to COVID. So we must look inwards to mobilize resources from the country to develop, to build our roads, to build clinics, health facilities, to build educational facilities, to deliver potable water. And one of the ways to do this is by the introduction of e-levy. And people say no. will not allow you to borrow outside, will not allow you to also raise revenue from inside this country. So where are we going? Do you want development or we don't want development? Do we want our roads to be built or not to be built? I keep saying, the cost of road construction and road maintenance has escalated over the past 20 years. Why? Because over the past 20 years, just 20 years, the road network of this country has doubled. We need to maintain them. We need to service them. We need to build new roads from within. Today, as we speak, local contractors, road contractors, the government is indebted to them to the tune of about 4.5, 4.6 billion Ghana cedis. We're not having money to pay them. The e-levy, we are told, that will yield enough for us to be able to do the roads.
He explained that no final decision has been reached in the negotiation with the minority on their opposition to the e-levy. So what happens if they are unable to build consensus? Well, Chairman Sabonsu says they will put it to a vote in the House.
The outstanding thing then is the e-levy. The minority's position at the time, at the very outset, was that they had zero tolerance for the e-levy, that they were not going to accommodate it at all. But then as we began the discussions and negotiations, they moved from the zero tolerance zone to a tolerance zone. And then the talk was about maybe 0.5% they were accommodated. But ultimately, they came to a point that they would agree to 1%, but not more than 1%. The minister was at the same time to also engage the operators of the system. And he succeeded in talking to them for the operators to bring their costs down by 0.25%. Seriously, we need money to grow the established. What Parliament should be demanding, my view, is that yes, we need roads. We need these infrastructure facilities. How much you anticipate to have? Maybe 8 billion, 9 billion. How much are you dedicating to the construction of roads? How much are you dedicating to the construction of educational facilities? But to say that physically I'll not allow you to do that, I'm not sure where that is coming from. Because when push comes to shove, we have to vote on it. And it will depend on the numbers that you have, the strength of your forces, right? But should we get to that point? I'm not sure. Let's dialogue. So we are still negotiating as we go along. Compromises give and take, and we'll see how it goes. But I think that we'll come to some determination on this.
The majority leader has also tasked metropolitan assemblies to be up and doing in raising revenue within their catchment areas. According to him, if these assemblies focus just on property rates, their reliance on district assemblies common fund will be reduced.
The other day, I heard somebody say that, as the last count, he had about 100 houses. I say, hey, and you're why are they? 100 houses, no. Property rate being utiao. In the established democracies, if you have a house located anywhere, you pay property rate. The property rate is calculated, one, the location of the property, the provision of utilities, water, electricity, telephone services, and the prime location of that facility, and finally, the cost, the evaluated cost of that property. These 6 factors determine the rate that you pay to the council. Accra, Kumasi, Sekondi Takoradi, Tamale, these metropolitan areas, they don't require government support to stay alive. If they were diligent in raking in property rates, they will not require to rely on common fund. And the common fund should go to support the stressed distress, like Lambusier. Should I add, Swami?
So that's the majority leader and, of course, MP for Swami. Let's go to Zoom now and speak to Ahmed Ibrahim. He's the first Deputy Minority Chief Whip. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us here on Joy News Prime. And so, as we're hearing from the majority leader today, the committee that was formed with membership from both sides of the House to reach a compromise, specifically on the e-levy, is far from doing so. What is accounting for that?
But let me say a very good evening to your cherished viewers. It's unfortunate the committee that was formed to lead the negotiations or the discussion towards the enactment of the law to levy Ghanaians an amount of 1.75 cedis on electronic transactions, be it Momo, bank transfers, and all those things, has broken down. And I'm saying this simply because the minority in Parliament went to the negotiation table with 5 main resolutions. And it was not just a committee composed of only minority and majority. It was a committee with even representatives from the Office of the President, Office of the former President, then Office of the Speaker, then the Finance Ministry, the National Security Ministry, together with the minority and majority. This committee started negotiating very well. We went on the table, like the majority leader has said, on zero tolerance for e-levy, on the reversal of the benchmark values, on the allocation of revenue towards the victims of the tidal wave victims in Blekusu and the coastal areas, be it from the 540-kilometer coastal defense area. On the expunging of Ajapa royalties from the budget itself, and so on. So 4 of our resolutions were catered for, and I must confess to that.
Okay.
But the major devil on the negotiation table was the electronic transaction levy. And take it from me, it was not like the minority were just saying, we won't allow you to impose the e-levy. We took the views and concerns of the Ghanaians in diaspora, how it will affect their foreign remittances and bank transfers. Our mothers and sisters who are in the trading area, Ghana United Traders Association, GUTA, their main challenge was the e-levy and at the same time, the benchmark values. You know, COVID has come. So those who used to go to China, who used to go to Dubai, Vietnam, to go and import items are now making use of bank transfers and that kind of things.
Well, Mr. Ibrahim, we've heard some of these arguments that has been put forward already. We heard from the majority leader say that you have moved from a zero tolerance to a proposition of 1%. Is that what it is?
He is not telling you the whole truth.
So what is the truth?
He went into the negotiation table with the idea that either you agree to this or no agreement. Truly speaking, we went in the negotiation table. The minority negotiation team said that these are our 5 resolutions. The 1%, the majority leader is saying today, they disagree that they will not even agree to that, together with the 4 other items. Then the minority said, if you will not agree with these 4 items together with even the 1%, then we take it like there's no agreement. And that is how the negotiation broke down. So if today you have come to say that, oh, you agreed to the 1%, and the NDC negotiation team even said no, and therefore that's why there's no agreement. You are not being fair to Ghana.
No, Mr. Brian, the majority leader is not saying that they are refusing, what the majority leader is simply saying is that you have come with a 1% proposal, which they have not agreed to. And so what are you ready to compromise on? What must give?
Exactly. So it's like we went with 5 items. You agreed to all the 4, even because you've given us these 4. We cannot say, oh, even the one that we are saying, we are still insisting on the 0. Let's push a bit for you. 0.5, you say no. 1%, you say no, unless 1.75. We say, okay, then take it like there is nothing agreed upon.
But how fair is that? You went in with 5 propositions. They have given you 4 of that. And so is it not fair to just compromise on the outstanding one?
We even suggested, go and see the telcos. The 1% that the telcos are taking, let them agree to give you a portion of that, so that you even add it to this concession that we are even considering. You said no.
Very well.
Then we also proposed that increase the threshold to 500. That one too, you said no.
Well, he says this will be put to a vote. Are you ready with your numbers? And you know what the outcome is likely to be?
Oh, the point is, it is not. Didn't they put Ajapa to a vote? Has it materialized? Didn't they use their numbers to push Sando Hydro through? Has it materialized? Didn't they use their numbers to push so many things through, which have not materialized?
Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, Mr. Ibrahim.
We are not coming as if we are opposed to taxation. What we are saying, let's make judicious use of the little that we are even generating internally.
Very well. We ran out of time on this, but Mr. Ibrahim, I want to thank you for your time here on Joy News Prime. Thank you very much. That's the Deputy Minority Chief Whip joining us on the controversial Levy negotiation that has broken down. Away from that, large quantities of vaccines have expired in the Volta region because of the refusal of the people to take them. Manager of the expanded program of immunization at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kwame Amponsa Chianu, made this known at an event organized by the Center for Social Justice at this morning, the following report.
That we had a lot of vaccines in the Volta region. Unfortunately, because of hesitancy, we had a lot of them expiring. And so we will be happy if senior people like you would support the Volta region in overcoming hesitancy. We made a lot of vaccines available. And I believe that when you do the background check, you realize that most of quite a number of our vaccines expired in Volta region, unfortunately. It's not that we didn't make vaccines available.
And at 8 p.m. Tonight, President Akufo-Addo is expected to make some key announcement when he addresses the nation on the pandemic for the 27th time. We'll bring you live, coverage of that here on Joy News. You want to stay with us. Away from that, police in the northeast region say they are investigating the death of an elderly woman in Nalew. According to them, the body of the deceased was found in the bush where the town cemetery is located. Her face was covered in blood stain with marks of assault all over her body. It is suspected that she might have been killed on suspicion of being a witch and later dumped there. The Regional Public Relations Officer, ASP Robert Anabik, told Joy News autopsy results show the woman did not die of natural cause. Ilyasu Tanko reports.
Police have identified the woman as Asita Achire, who was a resident of a village named Simleboma here in the East Mampresi municipality. Residents living along the cemetery road in the regional capital called the police after discovering the dead body. ASP Robert Anibik, the regional police PRO, give details of what their preliminary investigation have so far uncovered in the incident, which occurred more than a week ago.
Investigating a case of murder involving a woman by name Asita Achire, who was found dead along the Nalew Cemetery Road at about 7 p.m. on Saturday. When police recovered the body, we found that there were marks of assault on her, which suggests foul play. As a result, conveyed the body to the Nalew Baptist Medical Center, where a medical officer confirmed the suspicion of the police that she didn't die naturally. And as a result, we have commenced investigation into the case.
According to earlier reports, the woman had long been accused of being a witch in another town, where she subsequently fled to settle here in Nalew. It was believed she was hunted down by her accusers. However, the police said they were still investigating and that a manhunt was underway to arrest the suspect and know their motives.
The issue of her being a witch has not been established. We have no information from any where to confirm or corroborate that allegation. And the issue of her being linked to, for now, we don't have any evidence to that effect. But we are investigating, we have commenced investigation. Today I even spoke to the district commander and efforts have been made to get witnesses who may have information relating to her death to assist us in our investigations. And when we are through, and those allegations are also true, we'll bring the corpus to look.
Elias Sutanko reporting.
You're watching Joy News Prime with me, and this minute still to come in business. Inflation shot up to 12.2%, the highest since the economy was rebased in August 2019.
Month-on-month basis, food inflation equally records a higher rate of inflation relative to non-food inflation, indicating a 1.3 percentage point, specifically with food inflation month-on-month 2.1%.
You're welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aite. The month of November recorded the highest rate of inflation of 12.2% since the rebasing of the economy in 2019. Now, this indicates that prices of goods and services witnessed upward adjustments during the period. Housing, water and electricity once again topped the list of factors that contributed to the rate of increment. According to the government statistician, Professor Samuel Kobina-Enning, food inflation also experienced some increment over the period.
The rate of inflation recorded for the month of November 2021 is likely to result in an upward trend in interest rates and prices of goods and services in the coming months, especially as the festive season approaches and as the countries deal with uncertainties amid the spread of the new variant of COVID-19. In the month of November 2021, the general price level was 12.2% higher than in November 2020. Meantime, contribution of food and non-alcoholic beverages to overall inflation has regained an upward trend. Here is government statistician Professor Samuel Kobina-Enning.
We see food dominating by 13.1% relative to non-food 11.6%, indicating a 1.5 percentage point between food inflation and non-food inflation. On a month-on-month basis, food inflation equally records a higher rate of inflation relative to non-food inflation, indicating a 1.3 percentage point, specifically with food inflation month-on-month 2.1% and non-food inflation month-on-month 0.8%. Housing and transport continue to record the highest rate of inflation as housing, water, electricity and gas recorded 20.5% and transport 16.0%.
Inflation rates for Upper West and Northern regions remain high, with Eastern region recording the least inflation.
From the regional perspective, we see a wide range between the region with the highest inflation, that is the Upper West region, standing at 17.2%, and the region with the least inflation, that is Eastern region, 2.7%, indicating a variation of 14.5 percentage difference between the Upper West region, which has the highest inflation rate of 17.2%, and Eastern region with the least inflation rate of 2.7%.
Inflation for locally produced items continue to dominate imported items.
Well, the Ghana Poultry Farmers Association is predicting hikes in the prices of live birds this festive season. It follows concerns over the shortage and the hike in prices when it comes to the procurement and distribution of feed across the country. Well, speaking to Joy Business during the marketplace session, the president of the association explained the reasons behind the hike in prices.
Oh, we've had a lot of engagement with the ministry, series of meetings. But the challenge was that, the feed is basically about maize, soya, and wheat bran. And we allowed the neighboring countries to come and buy all the maize from here. And it came to a time that we were not even getting maize for the bears. We've had a series of meetings with the ministry, and still the situation has not changed very much. Well, we know that every year we use live bears for the festive season. So despite the challenges that we have, we still have some supply for the public. So the public, accept that the prices will be up because the feed input, especially the maize, has gone up over 250%. So definitely the prices of bears will go up.
Well, hoteliers are re-strategizing on revenue streams by shifting from a reliance on international travelers and tourists to domestic clients. It comes as a number of bookings for Christmas have been cancelled following the announcement of the mandatory vaccination at the country's airport amid the spread of the Omicron variant. The president of the Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Akanyamike, says though the vaccine mandate will have a toll on revenue, alternative arrangements have already been put in place to hold hoteliers up.
The domestic tourism promotion is also something that a lot of the operators are placing emphasis on. So all things being equal, I don't believe that in this short term, the impact on the industry will be as grave as we are anticipating.
Great, but of course we're picking from your submission that there's going to be much focus on domestic tourism as against the over-reliance in recent past on international travelers. How are you going to ensure the sustainability of this direction?
Well, we have started with a lot of collaborations going on. The various trade associations, the various business in the tourism chain are now coming together to form all kinds of partnership to ensure that the Ghanaian or the people in the country take some interest in domestic tourism, and also to ensure that the various programs that the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, and indeed the Ghana Tourism Authority has put in place with regards to the December Engage. That's not to say that we are discouraging any international visits, but people in Ghana can also enjoy the December in GH, much as the international visitors will also enjoy it. So we are also pushing and focusing on these events that is being promoted for the Ghanaian to also enjoy it. And then those who are able to join us from outside, why not? We'll all enjoy it in good health.
That'll be all for business. We have sports coming up. Do stay with us.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the first part of the sports segment with me, Oreko Lampofo, and it's all smiles for Heart of Oak fans as their team secured their first victory of the Ghana Premier League seasons. The Phobians earned a hard-fought 1-0 victory against Elmina Sharks at the Undum Sports Complex on Wednesday afternoon, courtesy a strike by debutant Gladson Awako. Let's check our highlights of the game.
Early incursion comes across the face of the 18-yard box, and it's Bontin finds Butcher. Here is Denchi. Again, nobody to connect for the Phobians.
The spaces are beginning to emerge in behind the
good ball onto the part of Enoch Agbenyo. And the striker sends the cross in. There's a shout for penalty.
Ask all the question, that's the incident again. We'll look at there if the ball came off the hand. Yeah, the hand is away from the body, it must be said there. And the ball straight away, I think, came off the hand.
Alhaji Mustafa Benswan, and Atta makes the save. Justice Mensah's cross comes in. Atta again goes for it.
It bends around the wall, but it's a comfortable one for Atta because the height is good and it's into the corner where
Queso to his mouth, he's blown it, and that's it for the first half. Really competitive first half, and referee Richmond Enchi whistles for commencement of the second half. Here is Ajete. Edukol. Long ball to Enoch Agbenyo, but Fatal defends well. Agbenyo, great goalkeeping.
Awkward for Fatal, and even awkward there for Agbenyo. There, the ball bounced and got in behind him, but did well to shake his man off. But look at that for goalkeeping, Richard Atta.
Push on near J. Foul is quickly taken. Alhaji Mustafa to Justice Mensah. Heads it down for Agbenyo. right in the box. He's pushed down by Sawonu. Agbenyo. His work ethics fantastic now. Here is Awako! My goodness!
Oh, what a goal. Took the ball up and over the goalkeeper. Couldn't readjust himself to get to the flight of the ball, but Awaku will claim it. It is his goal.
The wait is over. Awaku has arrived and Awaku has scored his first goal. But for Elmina Sharks, they make that long trip to Tamale, and here they go in search of the equalizer. Tied him. It's over. Sharks 0, Hearts 1.
Well, Gladson Awako is happy to score on his Heart of Folk debut.
Looking up to try. I've been looking up to a performance like this because of what happened in the past.
Yeah.
So I needed something like this to cheer the fans up, to change the mindset of what people had in mind against me. So I'll thank my teammate too, because they accepted me, they welcomed me so well. So I feel very very happy around them and all that. So we needed this win badly. Where I was during the first half, I was monitoring because we couldn't drive from back, and the coach kept telling us we should try to shoot at goal. So my mindset was to, when I get the chance, I'll just go for it. And I wanted one, but I didn't get it. But when I got this ball, my first control did everything for me.
I'll get the full complement of results of Week 8 fixtures in the Ghana Premier League. Mediama beat Legon Cities by 1-0, and then Ashanti Gold also lost at home to Aduana Stars, who've now won 5 games on the trot and are joint top with King Faisal, who themselves were held to a 0-0 draw against Accra Lions. Heart of Folk beat Elmina Sharks by 1-0. Dreams FC continued their fight form as they beat Kerala United by 3-1. Bichem United were 1-0 victors against 11 Wonders at home. Wafa still with just 1 victory so far this season and sits deep inside the relegation zone after losing 2-0 to Berekum Chelsea. Great Olympics also being beaten Gold Stars there. That's an error. They won by 2-0. And Asante Kotoko currently being held by Real Tamale United 1-1 with just over 20 minutes to play. Well, that's how we wrap up the first part of the sports segment. In the second part, we'll be focusing on Sergio Aguero, who has been forced to an early retirement due to a heart issue. We're bringing you more on that story much later.
And it's time for Showbiz, and beautiful Becky is here with the latest.
I'm so excited to see you.
You are?
Yeah.
And I'm also excited to see you.
Did you miss me?
Yes, I did. I did miss you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Shatawale and medical.
Oh, but that was so quick, Becky.
You know, they're now best friends. Like,
yeah, I see them all over on social media.
Yeah, so they've been talking about their jail experience and what they've learned from, you know, the whole experience about brandishing guns and lying to the public and all of that. So they spoke on Hit FM this morning with Andy Dosty.
Oh, discipline. Yeah, discipline. You know, I think in this life we all have to, you know, learn how to discipline ourselves well, and you know that's what is going to take us far. So I believe all the processes we went through, you know, from wherever to wherever, you know, came out, you know, with strong discipline. Because right now I feel maybe I might be doing something that I feel is right, but the system doesn't like. So I need to discipline myself and, you know, structure myself to the law, and you know, we all abide by it and just move. And, that's why I had the motorbike, because sometimes if I'm going out and I feel there's traffic, I don't even do that ping 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 anymore, because sometimes if you are doing it, somebody might think you are overdoing it, and it's all part of breaking the law. So I just want to show respect to
medical. And you? I would say you just have to be careful. Like, I've learned how to be very, like, extremely careful with anything that I do, any action I take, because you right now I don't even know what might land me in trouble. You get me? Because honestly, whatever happened that put me in that place, I never even knew it was something. It was a crime. You get me? But I got to know that you just have to be careful in anything you do. You get me? So it'd be almost the same as what my brother said.
Almost everyone in Ghana, well, a section of the people thought that the law wasn't fair with you, especially you. I mean, with Shatta, we all knew what dragged him there, and even at a point, he even offered himself to be there. Said, "I want to sleep there." In your case, people felt too sympathetic, like, he just displayed something he didn't even know. Did you feel same?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know it was an offense. I didn't even know like it was a crime because I knew brandishing of a weapon is when you're in public and then you pull out a weapon, people get threatened, and then you get me. Not when maybe you're in your car home and then you put something on Snapchat. So I was a bit puzzled and all, but I learned a lot from it as well. So right now I'll just be extra careful and advise anyone who listen to me to be extra careful as well, because you might never know.
So lessons learned, message drummed home.
Yeah,
let's
be
all
extra
be
careful or else Uncle Dampari will come for you.
Yeah.
Shatta and medical, a lot of people are like, okay, now you guys are like,
yeah, what's going on?
So tight, what's going on?
Yeah.
So Andy asked, what exactly is going on with you two? Shatta says that they had a blood covenant, and so...
Really?
Oh, you don't believe me? Oh, let's take a listen.
I just realized that he was my junior brother.
He's lying.
Yes, I know. You can say the truth. When I'm lying, he tells me I'm lying. I don't like it at all. Like, it's very deep. That is deeper than.
But that was the reason why I didn't wake up early. Like, they had a meeting, they finished like 4.
Yeah, 4.
I think he couldn't wake up early.
So I was actually going to write.
So you should have come.
Yeah, so I was waiting for him, because...
But if you know chop, you know go chop.
When I be deeper than blood.
So you have to move.
Do you have a blood covenant or something? No, it'd be question that he asked. I don't know.
Me and him, we have blood covenant.
I don't talk anything. He say, I don't talk anything. He say, you wait, you are say, I don't talk anything.
So how does that even work?
well, I don't know, but I'm sure he started to ingest. Shatta can be.
I know, but
can be a bit mischievous. And,
I'm just thinking how the blood covenant thing works.
Yeah, especially between the two of them.
Yeah.
Okay, but you can find out, Becky.
I will. I'll try to find out
tomorrow. Come and update us.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. Let's talk about Jackie. Jackie says that when she started doing music, she noticed that her music was going to go global, and so. She had a conversation with her management, and her management, they've been very supportive. They did all the things that they had to do, take their music outside, have live
distribution and all of that,
outside. And she spoke to KMJ about, this whole putting the music to the rest of the world. Jackie Jackie there. Understand that there's fellow Ghanaians, so I'll just
come up very shortly.
Yeah, so I'll take leave of you now.
Thank you, Becky. Good seeing you again. And if you're watching us on Joy Prime, that's it for the bulletin. If you're enjoying news, please stay with us. We'll be back with some more stories. The president will be addressing us at 8 p.m. We have the broadcast right here. Don't go away. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Executive Secretary of the Right to Information Commission, Yao Sapon Boateng, has emphasized that no public office holder can hide behind the oath of secrecy to deny a request for information under the new RTI law. Mr. Sapon was speaking at a public forum in Teshiman in the Bono East region as part of a series of efforts taken by the Commission to educate and sensitize the public on the RTI law and how it works. Correspondent Anasa Bit was the function and has come through with the following report.
The Right to Information Commission says it has stepped up public engagements to get more citizens participate in the implementation of the Right to Information Act. The Commission, as part of a series of exercises to help the citizenry better appreciate the new law, held a public lecture at the Techiman Bunjemim Hall under the theme, "Your Right to Access Information and the Role of the Commission." Executive Secretary of the Commission, Yao Sapon Boateng, says the move would help the citizenry understand the application of the law.
So the purpose of today's program was to help reach out to the people of Ghana and help engage them in their understanding of the law and its implementation. And I believe that it was such an interactive session that we were able to address the confusion in the minds of people about the implementation and the realities of the Right to Information Act. Sure. So that is what our focus was on.
He again noted that the new law requires heads of institutions to release information to the public as and when requested.
Now, you'd realize that as public institutions, there's this feeling of secrecy in terms of what we have sworn to before taking office. This law has come to replace that process so that if information is not exempt, you are required under the law to give it out. You cannot ride under the secrecy or the oath you have taken in office that allows you to keep public information as secret. So it's a new system we are engaging in that is supposed to push for more openness and transparency in our public discourse.
Some of the participants expressed satisfaction with the lecture and asked that the move would ensure transparency so far as information is concerned. Desmond Tutu is the Regional Information Officer.
This law is very important. Now that it has come into fruition, it will allow every public institution and private institution that uses public funds to give out information, because as the Executive Secretary rightly said, at first you go into any public institution to demand for information, they are unwilling to give you. But now there's a law at 989 and you are compelled to give out the information that the person is requesting for. So it will go a long way to ensure transparency, accountability in our public discourse, because you are forced to give out any information that the person is requesting.
He asked that the Information Services Department would further intensify its education and sensitization exercises to other areas in the region, together with the media, to increase awareness on the RTI Act.
I'm so happy that Bono we have turned out in our numbers, and everybody now seems to understand the law more, and I think that we will do more education. We'll collaborate with the media, and the more education will help the people to understand the law more, and then they will be willing to give out information.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Tichiman.
The Majority Leader of Sechi Mensah-Bonsu has been speaking on issues affecting the development of Parliament. According to him, there's popular support for decoupling the executive from the legislature to prevent MPs from auditioning for executive responsibilities, which limits their ability to play their oversight role.
Every parliament is as strong as its leaders or as strong as its committees make it. If the committees are not strong, Parliament will be rendered, excuse my language, lame and limp. Which is why it's important to look at the composition of the leadership. Currently, there are only two committees that are headed by opposition members. One is Public Accounts Committee, and the second is the Subsidiary Legislation Committee. Even the headship of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee is not by statute, it's not prescribed by statute, it's by convention and practice. So we need to have a look at that. It is not for nothing that if you are talking about strong committees in Parliament, one of the committees that will come to mind is the Public Accounts Committee. Why is it so? Basically because it is headed by an opposition party. Let's not kid ourselves. A ruling party is elected into office to ensure that its programs and policies are carried through. We don't want a committee chair to frustrate the government. So, chairs of committees who come from the same party as the ruling administration usually would tread cautiously in dealing with matters that come from the government. And don't forget, the prayer of members of parliament, all of them, is to be made, to have the opportunity to be made a minister or deputy minister. You don't want to cross the path of the president, just so that you may not be blacklisted. So that when your time is due to be made a deputy minister, or a minister, reference will not be made to your past, that at a point in time in your life, you were frustrating government business. So people want to tread cautiously. That's a fact of life. And it's not a now situation. It was a situation yesterday. It was a situation the day before yesterday. So we're talking about proposing new standing orders that would strengthen the committee systems in Parliament. And also, one other matter that came up strongly was the need for constitutional review to decouple the legislature from the executive.
Now, suspect in the gruesome murder of a young lady at Pakoso in Kumasi has been linked to the death of 2 other women whose bodies were found in the area earlier this year. 27-year-old Samira Farouk was brutally murdered by the suspect, who residents believe could be behind series of murders in the area. Nana Bonsu is believed to have lured his victims, mainly prostitutes, to his hideout and succeeded in robbing and, in some cases, killing them. Love FM's Rastos Saridonko was in Pakoso community 2 days ago after the incident, and now reports.
The Pakoso town is shaken by the gruesome murder of a 27-year-old mother of 2. These 2 carpenters got wind of the crime, chased down the suspect and arrested him. She was screaming, "Ah, ah, ah." And I saw the young man throwing bricks at something 3 times. For a moment, I thought it was a snake until I saw his clothes soaked in blood. We rushed in, chased him, and arrested him. The victim was later identified as Samira Farouk and a mother of 2. Umar Farouk is her father.
I don't know.
There are conflicting reports on the condition of the suspect, whether dead or alive. If this were to be a lawless state, we would have lynched him as well. But we have laws, and I want justice. As her friends seek justice for her, residents of Pakoso, where she was killed, want a probe into the death of other women whose bodies were found under a canopy of trees a few meters from the suspect's home.
2 months
Barely 2 months ago, a body was picked from that forest. We hear stories of women being stabbed and killed here. He's a criminal, and with his latest act, we believe he's behind these killings. We are scared. You can't use this road after 6 p.m. He robs people of their belongings on this road, close to the forest. He was arrested once and given some hot slaps. If he's the one behind these crimes, then it's a bad thing. Now we are told that all the bodies found in this canopy of teak trees were women. I have with me here somebody who has stayed here for some time and has been part of the local watchdog committee.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Jumano, Abua community no. And it's
we should have a watchdog committee to improve security here. If only authorities will register and give us ID cards. We are volunteering. We are ready to work to boost security here. But without the ID cards, we can't work. Suspect is still in police custody as investigations continue. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Pakoso, Ashanti region.
Away from the Ashanti region, more than 10 kidnap cases have been recorded this year in the northern region, with most of the cases recorded in the eastern corridor of the region. The cases were recorded in Saboba, Bimbila, Myom, Zabzugu, among others. Now, 6 cases are currently under investigations, while 6 suspected people are in the police custody. The operations leading to the arrest of the suspects span from Sang in the Myom district to Yamokaraga in the Karaga district. That's the following report.
The Northern Regional Crime Officer, Superintendent Bernard Baba Ananga, who disclosed this to Joy News, said Saboba recorded the most of the kidnapping cases.
So far, we have quite a number, which I don't have the statistics on my table now, but I believe it will be more than 10 cases of that. We have taken over other cases, which other cases are also in the process of being taken over by the regional CID, and very soon we'll add to the numbers.
He said several arrests have been made whilst others are in court.
Saboba, we have a lot of kidnapping cases ongoing, but I can say for a fact that the cases are now dropping due to the fact that we have made quite a number of arrests. I can confidently say about 6 suspects are in custody and 6 different cases of kidnapping from Saboba to Sang area to areas around Zabzugu area, which we think that is helping in our investigations and then reducing the incidence of kidnapping. So far, so good. We also have other suspects who are arrested around Yemo Karaga area, and they are all linked to the kidnapping. In Myong area, the Myong and Sang area, the kidnappings continued there, and so far we have about 3 suspects within that area. We are looking for other 5 suspects whom we believe are on the run, and we are gathering intelligence on them, and very soon we will bring them to justice.
The Northern Regional Crime Officer said several thousands of Ghana cedis were paid as ransom, including cattle in some cases.
In one case, they took about 150,000 Ghana cedis before the victim was released. Subsequently, because of the nature of such a case, we believe others are at large. We don't want to disclose so much, but what we have recorded in other places like Sang, we have undisclosed amounts of money that they were also demanding. Others were also demanding cattle, among others. However, they have toned down on the issue of the cattle, and then they rather prefer taking cash. Salaga incident of kidnapping. And that particular one, they took almost about 80,000 Ghana cedis, which the suspects are undergoing trial.
Still on security, the Ghana Police Service and road users have lauded the efforts of the Electricity Company of Ghana to provide electricity at the Tovi Police Barrier in the whole West District of the Volta region. According to them, this has improved their safety during night duties at the barrier, but appealed for an extension of the street light by at least 100 meters at both ends.
The Kponvi barrier, which was mounted in 1979, was not connected to electricity until November 2021, following an appeal by the police. The barrier, which was to serve as a buffer between feuding factions in the Peki-Chito conflict, relied on dry cells and solar-powered lanterns at night. Following the provision of electricity and some street lights, police officers and road users say they feel safe at the barrier.
First here, when there was no light here, we were using bobo and lantern, and it make our work difficult because of there was reptiles, scorpions, snakes, somebody afar, and you are using torch. The person see you, even you will not see the person, but the person, because you are using light, the person see you more. And that those are any car approaching, you don't see the car. The time that you see the car approach you, you know, but now you can see afar because the light is there, the street light is goes to bed. You can see any car approaching us, you see it before, or you see even you see the color, you see the number.
To be in this bush with that light, master, it's very difficult. But now the light is here. I've seen, the moment I'm coming, I've seen that there's a change over here. ECG, God bless you for your good work. Continue doing it like that. Serve the people, and the people will be happy with you. Thank you.
Now, me started by my road to
I have been traveling the stretch since 2010. I have never seen lights here. It was difficult to identify if it were a police officer or armed robbers stopping us when we get to the barrier. But today, the place is well lighted. I can easily identify the police officers. We thank ECG for their good work. We are appealing that they erect street lights from here to Ho because robbers do disturb us on the stretch. The head of the Volta Regional Police Public Affairs Unit, DSP Elizabeth Ifiatenge, however, appealed for an extension of the street lights.
The moment we got here, we saw how the personnel were going about their duties. They could see approaching vehicles. So if there's any danger coming, they can also be on high alert to ward off that particular threat that is coming. And so we are most grateful to the ECG. And we are also asking if the street lights could be extended further so that they can see very far if any danger is coming. They will see it ahead of time to be able to put themselves in readiness.
Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Bonvi Barrier.
The Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abujinapo has described River Dai, located in the Hohoi municipality, as the cleanest water body in Ghana. The minister commended the people of Hohoi for taking advantage of the Green Ghana project to plant trees to preserve and protect the river from pollution. Mr. Jinapo visited the river while on a working visit to the Volta and Oti regions.
Resources Minister urged the residents to keep up the good work in protecting the river from pollution. He believes the state of the Dai River is evidence of the impact of the Green Ghana initiative introduced by President Akufo-Addo.
And indeed, this is very noble. And as I say, this is extraordinary, it's remarkable. And I believe that this is what we expect of all of us Ghanaians, where politicians like him, various stakeholders will partner government, assist government for us to be able to preserve and save the natural resources of our country. And we do so for ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I've been traveling the country with you, and we've been to several places. We've been to all the regions of Ghana. We've seen water bodies upon water bodies. I believe this is the cleanest we've seen so far.
MP for the area, John Peter Mew, called on doubting Thomases to visit Hohoi to see for themselves at first hand the advantages of the Green Ghana project.
A very big thanks to my very good friend, my brother. His initiative of Green Ghana is here, is visible for people to see. People who don't believe it, come to Hohoi and come and see what is happening in Hohoi. The Green Ghana initiative by my good brother Abu Jinapo is not something that is here. We have planted over 40,000, 7-kilometer stretch along this river. As the minister said, I think there is no river in Ghana. This is the best river, the cleanest river.
Chief Director at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Professor Patrick Agbesinyali, said about 40,000 trees were planted along the riverbank for beautification and protection. He says close to 2,000 residents currently depend on the Dai River.
Because of urbanization, the river got seriously polluted. In fact, the entire stretch of the river across the Hohoi township was heavily polluted to the extent that water supply was seriously hampered. As I speak now, households get water only once a week, so there is a health rationing. So we took it upon ourselves to save this river and preserve it, because it was almost turning into Odona, excuse me to say, like Odona in Accra. You see the halls and the volumes of garbage, waste, urban waste in it was horrifying. And nobody really could actually enter the river, because once you enter, you have itches all over your body. So we mobilized some of the youth. So first we had to clean the entire river, remove all the garbage from the river. And the next thing we needed to do was to save the river by planting its banks. So since February, March this year, we launched this project.
This is John News Prime. Let me take you now to the Jubilee House where President Akufo-Addo is addressing the nation.
Fellow Ghanaians, good evening. It has been some time since I last came into your homes on a matter that has grabbed not only our attention, but that of every country in the world. However, as Christmas approaches, with its attendant charged activities, and with an expected influx of visitors, it is important that I come back into your homes to provide an update on what government is doing to combat the pandemic and what is expected of you, the Ghanaian people, in this season. When I delivered the last update, I indicated that in spite of the efforts to rid the nation of COVID-19, the fight was far from over, as we had begun to experience a third wave of COVID-19 infections, driven largely by the Delta variant. The data tells us that the months of August and September in particular were the most devastating. Some 310 lives were lost to the virus in those 2 months alone, representing a quarter of the cumulative deaths from the virus since we recorded our first case in March 2020. In the months of October and November, a consistent decline in infection rates occurred, and mercifully, and by the grace of God, this has continued right into early December. As of Sunday, 12th December, some 2,042,778 tests have been conducted, out of which 131,911 positive cases have been recorded. 129,683 persons have recovered, meaning that presently the number of active cases, that is the number of people with the virus, stands at 973 persons. Inasmuch as this represents some degree of good news, we have sadly had 1,255 dying from COVID-19. The current data suggests quite a favorable COVID-19 situation prevailing in Ghana. And I say this only to encourage each one of us to continue to be vigilant and adhere to the enhanced hygiene protocols which have served us so well so far. 3 regions, i.e. Ashanti, Greater Accra, and Volta, have the bulk of infections. 7 regions have single-digit infections, and 6 regions, that is Ahafo, Northeast, Uti, Savannah, Upper West, and Western North, at the moment, have 0 active cases. We must do everything possible, at the very least, to maintain this situation, especially as the festive season approaches. Whilst these numbers should normally provide us with some comfort as far as the virus is concerned, I'm a firm believer in the oft-cited adage that it is better to be safe than sorry. We're expecting in this month of Christmas a large number of visitors, overseas Ghanaians and foreigners, into the country, with the Immigration Service doing a yeoman's job by intercepting many foreign nationals trying to enter the country through unapproved routes. Government's concern has been to limit the importation of the virus through the Kotoka International Airport. As things stand, international passengers arriving at Kotoka constitute the highest source of infections in the country, leading us to take drastic measures recently to prevent the importation of the virus from increasing the numbers of infections in the country. The Ghana Health Service tells us that an overwhelming majority, that is 75% of the positive cases recorded at Kotoka, have come from passengers who are not vaccinated. Beginning yesterday, Tuesday, 14th December, government has decided that all visitors coming to Ghana have to be fully vaccinated. Furthermore, all persons seeking to travel outside the country must also be fully vaccinated. Fully vaccinated passengers coming to Ghana must, in addition, be in possession of a negative PCR test of not more than 72 hours, and also take a mandatory COVID test upon arrival at the airport. Children aged 5 to 12 will not pay for the test. Any passenger testing positive at the airport will be kept in isolation at a designated isolation facility, and non-Ghanaian will receive treatment at his or her own cost. Communications have been duly sent to all airlines flying into Ghana of the imposition of a $3,500 fine for each unvaccinated passenger that is allowed to board a flight into the country. Unvaccinated Ghanaians and residents in Ghana who departed the country before 14th December and who returned by 28th December will be offered vaccination on arrival at the airport. Further details will be provided by the Ghana Health Service. These are stringent measures, I know, but the benefits far outweigh the negatives. As your president, it is my duty to protect lives and livelihoods. The ravages of COVID-19 have been devastating on our economy, and I'm determined to return us to our normal way of life as quickly as possible by helping to defeat the pandemic. Fellow Ghanaians, as I indicated at the outset, the month of December elicits naturally an increase in the number of social gatherings in the country. I know many of you have planned either to host or attend a number of gatherings, such as religious events and activities, funerals, weddings, concerts, musical shows, festivals, anniversary, sporting events, family gatherings, and parties. Nonetheless, we should be guided by what transpired last Christmas, where there was a sharp spike in the number of COVID infection cases and deaths in the immediate months of January and February 2021. We should avoid the repetition of such a scenario after this year's celebration. We do so by ensuring that social events are held in open spaces, ensuring that attendees wear masks, ensuring that social distancing is observed, observing enhanced hygiene protocols, such as hand washing and the use of sanitizers, and encouraging attendees as much as possible to come vaccinated. In as much as our active cases are now relatively low, the wearing of masks, unfortunately, remains low, and compliance with the safety protocols is still problematic. Whilst government does its part to secure the necessary numbers of vaccines to help vaccinate all Ghanaians, we cannot afford to disregard the social distancing, hand washing, mask wearing, and enhanced hygiene protocols that has brought us this far. They must continue to be a part and parcel of our daily lives and routines. Getting the jab is the best route out of the pandemic because, according to WHO, it reduces the risk of death, hospitalization, and the spread of the virus. It is for this reason that we have committed ourselves to vaccinating some 20 million Ghanaians, that is the entire adult population, by the end of the year. After the start of an impressive vaccination drive in March this year, we were confronted with vaccine supply constraints and disruptions at the global level. Fortunately, in recent months, the supply situation has improved considerably, and we estimate that by the end of December, we would have secured a total of some 26 million doses. Indeed, as of yesterday, Tuesday, 14th December, the Ghana Health Service has taken delivery of 17,736,710 vaccine doses. We are expecting an additional 8,529,090 doses by the end of the year. We have enough vaccines in the system. So, my fellow Ghanaians, I encourage each and every one of you to take advantage of this and get vaccinated. So far, we've been able to administer only 6,420,973 doses out of the 17.7 million we have at our disposal. Let me state as clearly as I can, the vaccines are safe. They will not harm you. They will protect you and your family. Contrary to the mischief being peddled by some, getting vaccinated will not cause you to vote for the MPP in the 2024 elections if you do not want to. This is an outrageous claim. Vaccination cannot change your political preferences. That is not its purpose. There are significant quantities of vaccines deployed in every corner of the country. We have thus declared the month of December as Vaccination Month, and we are rolling out an aggressive campaign of vaccination so that as many Ghanaians as possible have the opportunity to be vaccinated. It is a race against time, but we're determined to accomplish it. We continue to make steady progress in our quest to manufacture vaccines domestically. 2 days ago, on Monday, I was in Luxembourg, where I held discussions with the president of the European Investment Bank, Werner Hoyer, on Ghana's COVID-19 response plan. An €82.5 million facility has been approved for Ghana by the bank for use in the effort to strengthen healthcare delivery and the provision of specialist medical equipment and medicines across the country. Government has set aside €20 million of this to establish the National Vaccine Institute, which will supervise the domestic production of COVID-19 and other vaccines, led by the private sector and the business community. To my fellow Ghanaians living along the borders of our nation, I know of the difficulties occasioned you by the closure of our borders. As you know, the decision to close our borders, which are a source of livelihoods to many, was necessary because we wanted to limit the importation of the virus into the country. We're monitoring the level of threat of the disease and ongoing vaccinations in our neighboring countries. And as soon as we are satisfied that it is safe to do so, the borders will be open. Until then, I believe this is not the right time to reopen our land borders, especially as we're determined to prevent a fourth wave. And as such, they will remain closed until further notice. Government has beefed up its response capability and capacity to deal with the virus should we encounter an upsurge in infections. Over time, we have expanded our healthcare infrastructure, including oxygen supply and reach, particularly with respect to treating and testing centers, and the training of health professionals across the country in the care of severe and critically ill persons. However, our best bet in the fight remains adhering to the enhanced hygiene, social distancing, and mask-wearing protocols, and getting vaccinated. Enuanom, yensaka corona drono bebre woyamaimu bebia. Mamuntienia ebinuma yakeka. Boni bia eni adrono ho. Inti misramo obia enko hospital aben no. Ana bebia ya wo panie no. Na onko wo panie no bi. Eno ene bebo ye ho ban bro nyamremu. Me yire, me ma, awo ye de. Nke aka won so. Afen so mo koso indi nhihye a e farmers eni ye sa hohoro no ho. Me ma mu nyina afisiapa. Anyame me nyumodromo. Woni na isha corona chofa pi no ya manemi hefia he. Yekabwa no ni meko he. Ifon ko bet chofa he. No mi pafai. Me farm aya hospital ni benkele. Alo heni agbo chofa he. Ni aye gbu chofa. No ni ba buwa he bro nyane. Mi he fatalo. Mbi wogbo wono ehwe bohu. Eko nye ya no. Ninye wo mask ke woni ne formo. Mi hanye afi eya ni ebani nawo. Let us choose to live and act responsibly throughout the Christmas festivities. And remember that our actions or inactions will either help to end the pandemic at a much faster rate or continue to spread the virus in the country. I, on my part, will do everything possible to protect lives and livelihoods and return our nation to normalcy. It is possible, and the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is determined to realize this goal as quickly as possible. May God bless us all and our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. I thank you for your attention and have a good night.
And that's President Akufo-Addo addressing us on the latest on COVID-19 pandemic and Ghana's effort to vaccinate at least 20 million people by the end of the year. We're taking a break here. When we return, we'll bring you some more stories here on Joy News Prime.
It's now time for business. The Western Regional Minister, Dr. Kwabena Otrida-Mensah, is appealing to real estate developers to invest in the Western region. According to him, a petroleum hub is being established, which is estimated to cost 780,000 jobs. Hence, investing in structures will go a long way to provide accommodation for the growing regional economy.
Plans are underway to establish a petroleum hub in the Western region. The hub is to house 4 refineries with a total capacity of 600,000 barrels per stream day. Speaking at this year's Ghana Real Estate Meetup event, Western Regional Minister Dr. Kwabena Okyere-Darko-Mensah called on real estate developers to invest in structures to support the growing regional economy.
We have a lot of major productions that are coming up that we also need real estate investment. The first one is the petrochemical hub that we are setting up in the Nzima district of the Western region. And this is estimated to generate in excess of 780,000 jobs. So naturally, when I talk about 780,000 jobs, it naturally comes with what investment in real estate. And therefore, I would like to use this opportunity to encourage you to have a look at this proposition and see how you can invest in the Western region. There are also commercial real estate that you can also invest in. We are talking about jetties, we are talking about oil tanks, we are talking about petrochemical manufacturing centers and labs and the rest.
The third edition of the Ghana Real Estate Meetup was organized by Cameo One Group, a real estate agency to sanitize the housing industry and address some deficits. Here is the event coordinator, Anastas Anderson.
The Ghana Real Estate Meetup is a dialogue. It's the real estate dialogue in Ghana. What we want to do is bring stakeholders in the real estate realm to discuss how best we can sanitize the system and make real estate a profitable business in Ghana. And our aim is that we want stakeholders, both government, private developers, buyers, potential homeowners, to all come up with the frustrations that they go through when they want to engage in any real estate business.
Some participants shared their thoughts.
My name is May. I'm the CEO of Maidan Home Decor. All the people coming here, they are into real estate business, and we are specialized in furnishing apartments, homes, rentals, hotels, beach resorts, chalets. So that's why we are here, to let the people know about Maidan Home and show them our goods.
My name is Sobi Abushakra. I am the regional representative for Stone Depot in the northern sector. So far, so good. I mean, I just attended one in Kumasi last week, and this is significantly higher class.
My name is Moses. This is my second time coming for the summit, and I have a keen interest in real estate and construction. So I came to connect with people in the same field and see some of the products.
And that'll be it for business. I'm Charles Aite.
And that's our show for tonight. Many thanks for your company. My name is Ernest Minu. We have more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com.